From the majestic gates of Angkor Thom to the towering smiling faces of Bayon Temple, from the awe-inspiring pyramid of Baphuon to the sacred Royal Palace Enclosure and the legendary Terrace of the Elephants, every corner of Angkor Thom tells a story of power, glory, and divine artistry. Once the longest lasting capital of the Khmer Empire, Angkor Thom stood at the heart of Cambodia's golden age, flourishing from the 10th to the 15th century as one of the greatest cities of the ancient world. Alright, good morning everyone. Today is Wednesday, 27th of May 2026. At the moment it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I am now standing in front of Bayon Temple. That is the main temple in the middle of Angkor Thom. So today's video I'm gonna be taking you to explore the entire Angkor Thom. So let's get started. Covering an area of 9 square kilometers and surrounded by a vast moat and 8 meters high walls, Angkor Thom stood as the magnificent heart of the Khmer Empire from the late 12th century until the empire's decline in the early 15th century. The name Angkor Thom literally means great city, with Angkor meaning city and Thom meaning great or big. Historians believe its original name may have been Yasodarapura. Built in the late 12th century under the reign of the King Jayavarman VII, the greatest ruler of the Khmer Empire. Angkor Thom rose from the ashes of war and destruction. In 1177, the Khmer capital fell to an invasion by the kingdom of Champa and remained under occupation for 4 devastating years. After a long and determined struggle, the King Jayavarman VII successfully liberated the city in 1181 and began one of the most ambitious reconstruction projects in Southeast Asian history. Before the Champa invasion, the capital likely lacked strong defensive walls, making it vulnerable to attack. Determined to prevent another catastrophe, Jayavarman VII transformed the city into a mighty fortified capital. He ordered the construction of immense moats, massive defensive walls, and 5 monumental gates positioned at the cardinal directions, along with the Victory Gate leading directly to the Royal Palace. Each gate was crowned with giant serene faces and approached by causeways lined with rows of gods and demons holding the sacred Naga serpent, symbolizing the legendary churning of the ocean of milk. At the very center of the city he built the legendary Bayon Temple, a spiritual and political masterpiece representing Mount Meru, the sacred center of the universe in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. Bayon served as the state temple of the king, while countless shrines, terraces, palaces, and monuments were constructed throughout this vast royal city, turning Angkor Thom into one of the greatest urban wonders of the medieval world. So Angkor Thom is one of the must-see temples in Angkor Archaeological Park, including Angkor Wat, Taprum, Prekan, and many other main temples in the whole complex of the Angkor Archaeological Park. So Angkor Thom is the biggest area among those temples, but there are many temples in the whole area. So Angkor Thom, it covers the whole area of 9 square kilometers that is surrounded by the moat and also surrounded by the 8 meters high wall. And inside this area, that it covers the land area of 9 square kilometers. So there are 6 main temples inside this 9 square kilometers area, including other 18 small temples and shrines. So today's video, I'm gonna be showing you only the main temples, the 6 temples that are most visited by tourists inside this complex. And the main temple that is the most important one inside Angkor Thom is Bayon Temple, that is located behind me. That is located exactly in the middle of the 9 square kilometers of Angkor Thom. At the very heart of the ancient city of Angkor Thom stands Bayon Temple, one of the most mysterious and captivating monuments ever built by the Khmer Empire. Constructed in the late 12th century under the reign of the King Jayavarman VII, Bayon was built not only as a state temple, but also as a symbol of the rebirth and strength of the empire after years of war and invasion. What makes Bayon truly unforgettable are its massive stone towers, each carved with gigantic smiling faces, gazing peacefully in every direction. 216 faces on the 54 towers once watched over the ancient capital, creating an atmosphere both spiritual and surreal. Many historians believe these faces represent Avalokitesvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, while others believe they were inspired by the image of the King Jayavarman VII himself, blending the divine and the royal into one eternal presence. Unlike the grand symmetry of Angkor Wat, Bayon feels like a maze of stone, mystery, and hidden stories. Alright, so let's move on to the southeast part of the temple, and we're gonna see more carvings in this section. Its galleries are covered with extraordinary bas reliefs that reveal scenes of daily life, ancient markets, naval battles, religious ceremonies, and the famous war between the Khmer Empire and the Champa Kingdom. These carvings provide one of the most detailed visual records of life in the Angkor era. At the center of Angkor Thom, Bayon symbolizes Mount Meru, the sacred center of the universe in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. Over the centuries, the temple transformed alongside the changing faiths of the empire, carrying both Buddhist and Hindu influences within its walls. Today, Bayon Temple remains one of Cambodia's greatest treasures, a timeless masterpiece where history, spirituality, and art merge together beneath the silent smiles of stone that have watched over Angkor for more than 800 years. Oh. You okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Alright everyone, so we exit Bayon Temple at the northern gate, and right now we are heading north, just walking through this small trail. Just a few minutes we're gonna reach Baphuon Temple. So this is the front part of Baphuon Temple. That is the biggest and tallest temple inside Angkor Thom area. So this is the front part of Baphuon Temple. So the design is, there is a bridge that connects from the front to the main structure. So this bridge is like a rainbow bridge that links from the human world to the world of God. Rising like a mountain of stone in the heart of Angkor Thom, Baphuon Temple stands as one of the greatest architectural masterpieces of the Khmer Empire. Built in the 11th century, under the reign of the King Jayavarman II, Baphuon was originally dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva and served as the state temple of the empire long before the construction of Bayon Temple. Often described as the world's largest three-dimensional puzzle, Baphuon was one of the most ambitious temple mountains ever built in ancient Cambodia. Designed to symbolize Mount Meru, the sacred center of the universe in Hindu cosmology. The temple once rose majestically above the surrounding jungle with steep stairways, towering terraces, and a central sanctuary that represented the home of gods.
Alright, it's time to go up to the second level. Let's go.
At the height of its glory, Baphuon was considered one of the most spectacular temples in Angkor. A Mongolian diplomatist Jodak I, who visited Angkor in the 13th century, described it as an astonishing bronze tower that glittered under the sunlight. Although much of that original grandeur has faded with time, the temple still carries an overwhelming sense of power and mystery. Centuries later, as Buddhism became the dominant religion of the Khmer Empire, Baphuon underwent a remarkable transformation. On the western side of the temple, a giant figure of reclining Buddha was added, stretching 70 meters long, using stones from parts of the ancient structure itself. This fusion of Hindu and Buddhist symbolism reflects the changing spiritual history of Cambodia. By the 20th century, Baphuon had fallen into severe ruin. with thousands of stones scattered across the ground after years of collapse and war. Its restoration became one of the most challenging archaeological projects ever attempted, requiring experts to reassemble the temple piece by piece like a colossal stone puzzle. Today, Baphuon stands once again a breathtaking monument of Khmer engineering, resilience, and artistic brilliance. A silent stone mountain that has witnessed nearly 1,000 years of Cambodia's history.
Thank you.
So, alright everyone, we exit Baphuon Temple at the front part of the temple, and we just turn left and we're gonna reach a beautiful huge green field that is called the Elephant Field. So it was used as the main square of the city. And on the left side of the field, there is a long structure that is called the Terrace of the Elephant.
All right, everyone. So I am right now standing on the top of the Elephant Terrace, which is the structure that is located just right in front of the main gate of the Royal Palace.
Stretching 350 meters along the heart of Angkor Thom, the Terrace of the Elephants once served as a grand royal platform where Khmer kings observed military parades, religious ceremonies, games, and celebrations of the empire. Built in the late 12th century during the reign of the King Jayavarman VII, this magnificent terrace stood at the center of the royal city, directly connected at the front of the Royal Palace Enclosure. The terrace takes its name from the impressive carvings of elephants marching across its walls, accompanied by Khmer warriors, dancers, and mythical creatures. In ancient Khmer culture, elephants symbolize strength, royal power, and victory in battle, making them a perfect representation of the empire's greatness. Standing here today, it is easy to imagine the glory of Angkor at its peak. Royal procession crossing the city, armies returning from war, and the king himself appearing before thousands of people from this elevated platform. More than just a ceremonial stage, the Terrace of the Elephants was a powerful symbol of imperial authority and the grandeur of the Khmer Empire, whose legacy still echoes through the ancient stones of Angkor Thom.
Okay, so let's move on. That is the gate of the Royal Palace. That's the place where the kings, the royal family, was living here from the 10th century till the falls of the Khmer Empire in the 15th century.
Hidden within the ancient walls of Angkor Thom, the old Royal Palace Enclosure, the political and ceremonial heart of the Khmer Empire, where kings once ruled one of the greatest civilizations in Southeast Asian history. Though most of the royal buildings were constructed from wood and have long disappeared beneath the jungle and the passage of time, this sacred enclosure was once filled with magnificent palaces, audience halls, courtyards, and royal residences reserved for the Khmer King and his court. At the center of this royal compound rises Phimeanakas Temple, a mysterious pyramid-shaped sanctuary built in the late 10th century during the reign of the King Jayavarman II and later expanded by the King Suryavarman I. The name Phimeanakas means celestial palace, and according to ancient legend, this temple was believed to connect the earthly kingdom with the divine world above. Unlike many temples built primarily for public worship, Phimeanakas was closely tied to royal ritual and sacred kingship. There is a fascinating legend surrounding the temple. There was a golden serpent spirit believed to take the form of a woman, lived within the tower. Every night, the Khmer King was said to climb the temple to unite with this divine spirit in a sacred ritual believed to protect the kingdom and ensure the prosperity of the empire. If the spirit failed to appear, it was seen as a sign of disaster for the king and the empire itself. Nowadays, the stairway to the top is closed due to the restoration project is going on. Though quieter now, the old Royal Palace Enclosure and Phimeanakas remain powerful symbols of the sacred authority, mythology, and royal power that once defined the Khmer Empire at its height. Hidden beside the Terrace of the Elephants, in the ancient city of Angkor Thom, lies one of Angkor's most mysterious monuments, the Terrace of the Leper King. Built in the late 12th century during the reign of the King Jayavarman VII, this intricately carved terrace is covered with stunning images of gods, demons, and mythical beings hidden within its narrow corridors. The monument takes its unusual name from a statue discovered on top of the terrace, believed by some to represent a Khmer king affected by leprosy. Others believe the figure actually represents Yama or Yimraj, the god of the death and judgment in Hindu mythology. Though its true purpose remains uncertain, many historians believe the terrace may have served as a royal cremation site. Today, the terrace of the Leper King remains one of Angkor's most fascinating and mysterious treasures, filled with silence, legend, and hidden stories carved in stone. Alright everyone, so across the elephant field, as you can see, there are 12 towers there. So all those towers combined is called Suor Prat Temple. So that is the temple number 6, as I promised to show you all the main 6 main temples inside Angkor Thom. So Prasat Suor Prat, it means, according to the names, it means the towers of the rope dancers. So all those towers could be used by the performers, like the acrobatic dancers, that they are dancing or showing some activities, that they are standing on the rope that they tie, connect all those towers together, and could be used in other purposes like the religious ritual and so on. Alright everyone, so Angkor Thom is one of the most important places in Siem Reap that you cannot miss. So as I promised, I've been showing you the 6 main temples inside this area already. So I hope that this video is gonna be useful for you. So from the top of this temple of Baphuon, I would like to wish you all the best, and I hope that your trip in Siem Reap is gonna be enjoyable and meaningful for you. So wish you all the best from the sacred temple of Baphuon.